Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Heartbeat of Sri Lanka. And today we are here with the chairman and the creative director of EKKO shirts. Now EKKO won the Brand of the Year award at the Mercedes-Benz Fashion and Apparel Awards 2015. So along with that, EKKO has been a household name in the fashion industry in Sri Lanka. And Mr. Lalantha, it's great to have you on the show with us today.
Thank you for coming by. Thanks, Achita. Yeah.
So tell me, starting off, to what do you owe your success?
Well, I believe it's my commitment and always working towards my goals and sheer dedication of taking a lot of responsibilities and just to build a career, build a lifestyle, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So tell me, leaving apart what you do now, how was it back then? Tell us a bit about your life back in school, how you were.
Yeah, I was born in Colombo, born and brought up in Colombo. My parents, my father used to be an accountant, and my mom, she was actually a domestic, she had batik industry, she had about 25 girls working way back then, 1970s. At the time, Laksala, Salusala, and the local batik industry, was really booming. So I used to see my mom had a lot of talents, and I used to always look up to her and learned a lot of stuff at home itself. And I thought one day I really want to do something on my own, and with my few talents that I got, I sing, I play cricket, and I like lifestyle and to be innovative basically. I studied at Anand College, Colombo from grade 1 itself, and I finished my education at high school, and then I did a couple of diplomas, computer programming and accountancy as well. So then I started my career as a banker, working for a foreign bank. That was late 80s. Then that particular bank went through a merger. At that point I decided, and I've been advised and kind of recommended by some of my friends that with my kind of caliber, you should join the apparel industry, the fashion industry. So that was, I think, that was a huge move. So I decided, and then I got some training as a management trainee. Then I moved up in the ladder, became, I would say, the youngest country manager for a big American company called Gloria Vanderbilt, USA. I met the chairman of the company, and then I set up from grassroots level the business for them. Here, hired people, and then I built a solid business which is still existing in Sri Lanka. It's called Orit. So I basically was the founder of Orit group in Sri Lanka. That was in mid-90s actually, 96, 97. Yeah, and then I decided to leave Sri Lanka. I left for USA. I was there briefly with my family, again in the same fashion business, same thing. Then after about 2 years, I could not continue in the US because of the fact I realized that there are opportunities, lots of opportunities happening around the world. And during President Clinton's time in the US, US government signed a duty-free agreement with Africa called AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act. Then I thought, like, this is a huge opportunity for me to go and explore. So that I spoke to my good old friend, my chairman, Gloria Vanderbilt. His name is Isaac Daba. I should actually thank him at this interview as well. He helped me change my life actually totally. He awarded then buying agency for Gloria Vanderbilt for me to set up business in Africa. So I picked Madagascar out of the whole African continent, and I did introduce the country itself to Gloria Vanderbilt. And then since then, I became on my own, and then built a buying agency business. Even today, we are running that business in Madagascar, which is a beautiful island, just like Sri Lanka, much bigger though. So all along I have been involved in a lot of creative stuff, and looking at things on my own way.
The apparel industry has been your baby since you were born.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I used to do my own things, like to be creative, to introduce, look at things the way I, on my own way, and then I've been rewarded, and I'm very happy, so passionate about what I'm doing. I've always used to be like a good friend to a lot of my friends, and we have a cool lifestyle.
So tell me, you started off your own buying agency and whatnot, but beforehand you worked at a couple of places to get experience and whatnot, I believe. But when starting off your own buying agency, starting off your own thing, what are the difficulties that you faced, especially in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I mean, Sri Lanka always had restrictions, like not enough bilateral agreements that we can enjoy. Like, we had quota systems, we had so many barriers, like even today, like, we have lost GSP Plus, which we believe would basically come back to us. Likewise, Sri Lanka, even if you look at the apparel industry, like last 10 years, it's been hovering around $4 billion exports, revenue. So it's not really been growing. Some of the giant manufacturers here have already started moving out of Sri Lanka partially to places like Bangladesh, Vietnam, and India. And yes, it was very challenging, in Sri Lanka to start off. That's the very reason I, in fact, set up in Africa.
Right. So afterwards you started. What made you go into starting your own brand called EKKO?
Yeah, right. So we actually lived in Madagascar until 2010. Yeah, a good 10 years, and we were out of the country, and we came back to Sri Lanka, and we came back to. I have 3 children. My wife is also managing director of the company today. By the way, so yeah, we came back to Sri Lanka in 2010, and then I thought, since we already have the buying agency, running steadily in Madagascar, in Sri Lanka, I thought, like, it's good that if I could introduce a clothing line, with a nice brand name. And I saw a lot of vacuum, a lot of space, especially in the men's market here. So then fortunately, one fine day early in the morning, I discovered this name EKKO, and I told my wife, looks like, it sounds like a good name, to go with. And then her name is Irosha. I thought, like, I should find something, with her kind of, with her name, with E. And then then it was, I think from day one it was right, you know, first year itself. We came to the market in 2013, May. First year itself we saw that, you know, we have been recognized well, and that the product has been acknowledged by the customers, and we were able to place ourselves. EKKO was positioned with the brand fixtures, everything from day one, you know, with the reputed retailers. And from first year to second year, we had a 75% of growth, and second year to third year the same. And now we are moving into the fourth year, and it's been wonderful. But of course, as you know, when you start a business, a brand from grassroots level, a lot of challenges we had to overcome. Yeah. So the toughest period kind of is over. Now we have to maintain the consistency of the business.
Right. And so you also mentioned the managing director of your company is your wife. So what made that happen? Is she also involved in the fashion industry? What exactly?
Well, I think, yeah, I met her when she was 18. Like, you know, we were going out for about 6 years and we got married. And she's been, like, you know, following me, whatever I do. Like, you know, we used to watch cricket matches together. We used to travel with the cricket team also, you know, during Arjuna's captaincy time. You know, so then she became like part of obviously my life, and then the lifestyle as well. And since we moved to Madagascar, she you know, was automatically involved in the administration aspects of the business there. And then when we came back to Sri Lanka after 10 years, she had captured, like, you know, grasped, like, you know, most important areas of management and how to, you know, she comes from a business family as well. Their parents are into businesses, and so she had the managerial, you know, skills, and now basically she takes care of the operations and the administration side, and then I take care of the strategies, operations, sales, and, you know, product development, designing side of the business.
Amazing. Tell me a bit about the award and the path that led to rather getting this award.
It was, I think, it was awesome. It was amazing. Like, you know, we were awarded right after, you know, as we completed 3 years in the business. We had strong competition from, you know, prevailing other clothing brands in Sri Lanka. It was about 3 months process. Like, you know, this was organized by Academy of Design, AOD, along with Mercedes-Benz, the demo. It goes as Mercedes-Benz Fashion and Apparel Awards, actually. That was the inaugural year that Mercedes got involved in this Fashion Apparel Awards. And it definitely is a good endorsement. You know, I think
yes.
all our hard work and everything, you know, paid off. Yes, certainly. Yeah.
So, leaving apart businesses, I was told that this beautiful house was architectured and designed by you. Tell how that happened. I mean, are you an architect as well, or is it just something that you've always loved during school days? Or
yes, actually, yeah. I was 30 years when I first built my house. That was on my own as well. So I was always, like, you know, a nature lover. Like, you know, I wanted a house to be like a real, like a nature-friendly, you know, place that, you know, at the end of the day you come from work and, you know, a place to relax. So that, especially, like, you know, in Sri Lanka, you know, being a tropical country, I thought, like, you know, luckily I found a nice
land.
Nice land. And then, you know, we built this house as we moved back from Madagascar. And yeah, what you see is all my talent. You know, this is basically what I do.
It's beautiful, extremely beautiful. So, even when it comes to EKKO, all the shirts are designed by you?
Yes. Well, I do have two senior fashion designers, qualified fashion designers, and by now, of course, they do know my taste, and it's my wardrobe and my style, my taste, and so that, of course, they follow the rules. They follow the rules on the the house. So I fine tune, and they follow my instructions. They understand what is EKKO, what basically is our aesthetic values of the products. Yeah.
With the new year coming up, what would your New Year's resolution be, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, my personal my personal thing is like, we are an island, and I do hope that starting from next year, going to 2020, that Sri Lanka would be recognized as a paradise island sooner than later by the region, so that people can, many tourists can come to the country, and country can flourish, because we do have a lot of educated people compared to the neighborhood South Asian region. And my vision is that we will all be able to explore and get to the next level in terms of lifestyle and per capita, whatever it is, like that's actually my dream. Sri Lanka has lot of potential, and we haven't lived up to that at all, I personally believe.
So what advice would you have for young entrepreneurs and youngsters who are especially trying to get into the apparel industry? What sort of advice would you give them?
Yeah, well, see, there is always room, and it's never too late. If you have got the right talents and the capabilities that you can show the difference to the market is always open to you. And then always there are a lot of traders who just lots of buying and selling businesses. But if a youngster want to come up and have a market share, I do believe that commitment and showing that knowledge is very important, and then networking. I think still there is a lot of room to do many things with the technology being so sophisticated and quite easy. Today everything happens on your palm. So I think the youngsters, of course, will have better benefits instead of getting not everyone can do that, but then there are kids, I've seen a lot of talents out there, when I go to exhibitions and fashion runways and etc. I see a lot of talents, but then the exposure number, it's very important. I mean, we are like this today because we start traveling, and when we were very young, and you see the outside world, and then you see different cultures, and to understand, there are 7 billion people in the world, and always there is a need. And then if you understand, if you study, properly and focus, I think there is always room to create something new and to make it a living, for a living. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing words. Thank you so much for joining with us, and we hope you have a good year ahead.
Thank you very much for coming by, and thank you Sachita, to you and to your entire team. Thank you, Pulse. Yeah. All right.
And that's it from today's Heartbeat of Sri Lanka. And as always, we have an advice for you from today's show as well. And what that is the world is a very enormous place, and don't confine yourself to your territory. Explore the world and find what's best for you. Until another 2 weeks.